This is TWiT.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to TWiT, your tech hub for intelligent, thoughtful conversations. If you want to take your experience to the next level and support what we do here at TWiT, say goodbye to ads and say hello to Club TWiT. With Club TWiT, you unlock all our shows ad-free. You also get exclusive members-only content. We do a lot of great programming just for the club members. You also get behind-the-scenes access with our TWiT Plus bonus feed and live video streams while we're recording. And don't forget the fantastic members-only Discord. It's where passionate tech fans like you and me hang out, swap ideas, and connect directly with all of our hosts. It's my favorite social network. I think you'll like it too. Club TWiT. It's not just a subscription. It's how you support what we do and become part of the TWiT family. Your membership directly supports the network, helping us stay independent and keep making the shows you love. If you're ready to upgrade your tech podcast experience, head to twit.tv/clubtwit and join us today. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the club.
Hey everyone, Anthony here. Leo's running late. He should be hopping in shortly. I think he's getting a haircut. But again, I'm Anthony, a producer here at TWiT. Welcome to the AI user group. Today, we're going to go take a look at Google's new Antigravity, their agentic development platform, right? Yep. Launched with the Gemini 3. I think they launched, it was like 2 weeks ago or something.
About 3 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah. Google's answer to Cursor and I don't know, not Claude Code? No, Claude Code's not a...
Well, it's Cursor, it's Claude Code, it's Windsurf, it's Codex. Yeah.
Okay.
It plays in all that spaces. I think they still have a command line, but this is their VS Code fork, we'll call it.
Gotcha.
Because they fork VS Code.
So yeah, we have some club members with us, Larry and Darren, the usuals. But Larry's he's prepared a little demo for us for Antigravity. What do you got? What are you thinking, Larry?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually have it build a full app with a single prompt. And this is the strength of Antigravity. I've set it to do a bunch of things that probably if you're just starting out, I wouldn't do, because I'm going to let it run by itself. I'm going to create a clone of Polymarket. If you haven't seen Polymarket, it's where you can bet on almost anything, including elections, etc. And on the last TWiT, I was joking about how, what's the over-under for TWiT. And I'm like, I should create a Polymarket demo. And I'll let you know it does take a couple times to get used to it. The tool is really neat for a couple things, and I'm going to show while it's building it some of the features and why I think it's basically right now a step above of a few other tools, which, the Cursor, the Windsurfs, the Visual Studio GitHubs. Obviously, they may catch up at some point, but the strength of Google's ability to do visualizations, to generate images, to generate videos, the integration with the Chrome browser to do demos is what's really, really wild. I am not going to manually type in the piece of the prompt because it's a long prompt. But I will tell it is that you're a Python full stack developer, and I want you to create a prediction market, a Polymarket clone. I give it the tech stack that we're going to use, and I said use dark mode constraints. I'm running on. I tell it what port I'm running it on because I have a lot of things running on this machine. This is my dev machine. I actually created a virtual environment already. If you're in Python, you'd have to create a virtual environment, or any other language. You'll do whatever that it is, and then I give it a very simple requirements. Right, start with $1,000. Create a login screen. Create a bunch of types of questions, a binary question, and like this or that, or an over and under for the to do that, to create a whole bunch of pieces of that Polymarket. And I'm going to let it run. I'm putting it in planning mode, so it's actually going to do everything in the long sense. It has a lot of models. Let's see, let me get to the models. It does have the Gemini Pro, the Claude Sonnet, the Claude Opus. I'm going to run this on Sonnet because I may do stuff later in Gemini Pro. mainly because what happens is you have a limited set of tokens per 5-hour window and then says, hey, pick a different model. And for me right now, the Sonnet 4.5 model has probably been the best model I've been using for a while. The Opus model I just started with, so I'm not going to trust yet, but I will sit there and now hit click, and it's going to do a lot of things. Again, I'm letting it run by itself. You could actually set it so you could have it prompt you and do each step one at a time. If you notice, there is nothing in this directory. There is a TWiT demo directory. I've done this in previous directories also, which I can show later. And then as it's running, I'll also show you the agent manager. The other piece that was really neat about this is you can run multiple agents at a time on multiple applications at a time. So if you're like ADHD like me, you can be working on 3 applications, 3 different models, 3 different agents, just building stuff. Or if you have a very large application, what it will do is you can actually break it up into pieces and do separate tasks. So the first thing that it's going to generate is a task list, right? So it came up with a task list, and it's actually going to sit there and say, hey, I'm going to do these tasks. And the second thing, it comes up with an implementation plan. But let's go through the task list. So it says I need to design a schema. I have to create a UI mockup. I have to present for the user for review. So there's nothing for me to view yet. So I guess it's doing that right now. Then it's going to build the back end, right? Implementation, create a wallet, do the logic, implement seedings. I gave it 2 different ones to do. Will NVIDIA or Google win the chip race and the over and under on TWiT? Connect all the routes, which if you're in Python, that's connecting all the code to the routes, and then actually verifying the data, doing tests, and ensure it runs on port. This is interesting because what you'll see is it'll actually will launch a Chrome browser and it will video record itself testing it. This is one of the cool features that's pretty wild for me to watch. As you can see, it's starting to build code already on the implementation. It gives some highlights of what it is. We'll go a little bit, but it's already started with a schema. So it built a schema, and the schema is very simple, as you can see. It creates certain tables, and guess what? It's already starting to go through the mockup. What you see here, that red dot, is that it is recording this. So it is creating a video and a demo of this. So it's actually building the UI live as we see it, and it's actually doing a recording of it. If you look at it, it's not running on port 5111. So this is just a mockup of the actual application, how it's going to look. And it's amazing, just as I said, it's just doing very simple mockups. And it's pretty wild to watch. And if we go back actually to the application, we can switch between the application for what it's doing, because it's telling you what it's doing. And you can switch between that and the browser to see exactly what it's doing. And it's actually, if it says getting DOM, that's exactly what it's doing. It's actually doing the mockup, then getting what it wrote to then put into code. I will pause right here just if there's any questions, because that was a lot in literally 10 minutes.
This is a wrinkle in my brain right now.
Well, this is why I spent some time trying to figure out what the coolest thing to demo was and to watch it run automatically.
You got anything, Darren?
So I'm just gonna accept this, and okay. So one of the neat things about it is you could see the playback. So if I can click on the view, so you're gonna actually see the recording of what it just did. So you could see the timeline of the video, and it's actually recording it as it's doing it in the browser, and you can watch those pieces. More importantly,
asked for recording?
No, I asked. It did it on its own, right?
Okay.
Believe it or not. Now, one of the neat things about it, I can actually highlight something. Actually, so let me hit on review.
Okay, let's back up.
Yep.
It mocked up the layout.
Yep.
But so like it's recording the screen to...
It's recording the screen as part of its design philosophy. So it's actually showing you its design philosophy. So it's just recording that piece.
Okay, it's just for you, like to... Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And I'm going to do an accept all. Let's see. So it said completion through walkthrough, presenting data, including visualization in this example. So basically it says everything is done, but I can go in here and now I can do review, and I can actually put a comment in on this and say I want, let's make the buttons all blue, right? And I could hit submit. And basically, that was me looking at the image and saying, okay, let's change that. And it will update the buttons to all blue, right?
Did have a question from El Deuterino. There was nothing in a pref file behind the scenes other than the prompt?
No, there's nothing. Like, I did not use an agent.md file or a language file or a Copilot instructions file. I actually wanted to do this clean and plain, mainly because I want to see what it comes up with. Normally, if I build an application, I will have an instructions file for my languages. So I'll have one for Python, for HTML. If I'm doing something like this, at other places I have to use Java, so it's Java and JavaScript. So I'll have that. And then I'll have a default agents.md file that will have simple things like use solid principles. So solid is a development practice that we like to use, or at least I prefer to use. But in this case, I wanted to do very quickly, so it's much easier to show those basics. So now it'll show me a view of the playback with the buttons changed, and I can hit accept all. And then what I'll actually do is I'll say, okay, now build the application. So let's let it build the application. But I can go in at any point. I can, again, click using on the review of the video, and that's why it's generating the video for you to actually make changes to the mock-up so you don't like them before it continues.
That's actually really cool. I haven't played with the mock-up facility. Like I use Antigravity a bit at work, but it's yeah, I haven't used the mock-up thing. So you must have to say build a mock-up. It's never come up for me.
Let's go to my prompt, because I believe on the prompt, do I say no, I don't actually. I don't say that. Oh no, I said do create a mock-up UI. Yes, I do.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And the execution plan.
I didn't realize. Yep. Yeah, so it's all of these things. It's all part of the skill of it, I guess. Is,
it's like I didn't know I could ask for that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, one of the challenge, and I repeat this over and over again to even my team when I work with, and everybody else's tools. This is like a programming language. You have to learn it, and when you learn Antigravity, it doesn't mean you know Cursor, it doesn't mean you know Windsurf, it doesn't mean you know Copilot or Claude. They all have their quirks and pieces that they use.
Well, I think Antigravity is actually a fork of Windsurf, which is a fork of VS Code.
Well, no, this is a fork of just a VS Code.
I think it came from Windsurf. I think Google bought Windsurf, didn't they?
Well, Google bought some of Windsurf. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, and I think then they forked it to Antigravity, but then they changed it.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because half the Windsurf team went over to I forgot the name of the company. They and they still exist. And it's still one of the ones I use. Now I've been joking. I've been not being able to put Antigravity down once I saw that its ability to do these kind of mock-ups and stuff. And I was telling Anthony is my master's degree is in user experience. So I come from the front end. I ping Darren a lot because I know Darren's expertise is in the back end. So we have discussions.
Yeah. So yeah, Cognition acquired Windsurf.
Yeah.
In July.
And they have Devin. That's their tool.
Yeah,
right?
And then the CEO and co-founder left to join Google, and then which also secured the non-exclusive license to Windsurf.
Yes.
But yeah.
So Google licensed the technology, but not the.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the other people. So now
they hired some of the people as well. They stole some of the people. They licensed the technology.
Yeah.
But they don't own Windsurf proper.
Correct.
Yep. So it's asking me to create a virtual environment, which I'll let it create because it wants to create a virtual environment and load its own pieces. So I'm going to let it do that. Yeah, as you can see, this is in turbo mode, which is allowing it to do things. there was a person who put in a very bad prompt, and then it deleted his D drive using anti-gravity. So you'll see that story around. But a bunch of us looked at it and saw what he did. And like, oh, you don't use turbo mode in those cases. If you don't know what you're doing and you want to check, and you can see I'm checking where it's up. So now you can see it's already built it on my local host, right? It's recording itself, testing it, right? And using it. So again, this is kind of the strength that I saw with pieces. Yeah. That's Google Chrome complaining that the password is named password for the demo account that it built. But it is recording all this, which is kind of neat, so you can watch it. Where I was coming from, and I was talking to other people saying, look, if you are a software designer, you're designing a system for a user, just getting this video demo and then sitting with your users for the demo and then putting the comments in, right, is a huge step forward for not having a UX expertise or be able to build HTML this quickly. And to be able to do this live in real time with them and to sit with them, it's a great companion. I'm a big pair programmer fan, but now I'm looking at it's maybe the second person next to you should be the business person. And you could sit there between the two of you and bounce ideas off and build functionality this quickly. Let's see where Antigravity is. Did it finish? Excellent, application working. Let me update the walkthrough with the test results and complete the validation. So let's let it finish. And it does create documentation, which is kind of neat. You can ask it to create README files. You should ask it to create requirements.txt file also. We can do that after. But let's let it finish.
Oddly enough, a complaint recently about Claude code, and I've also seen it with Gemini, is for some reason they've started just littering MD files all over the place. Like they create a little too much documentation, and I think you need to control where the documentation appears. Yeah,
I already saw. I think it's what's it called, CodeWiki from Google that documents code for legacy projects, and we were looking at that because we have probably about 5,000 or so legacy Perl scripts that have no documentation. So this is the walkthrough where it tells me here's the database design, key features. It starts with 1,000 users. It hashes the password. It creates another table for the markets with the features of how to track it, how the bets are tracked, etc. It did some performance indexes. Again, it did a mockup, and this is the mockup. The other part is when it does a mockup that's this way, again, you could always review it and request it makes changes. It followed, it says, I want a dark mode. It did a tug of war bar. It shows a wallet, it shows market steps. Again, there's more recordings of what it did for the binary market example. It gave the two examples, which I gave in, which is, who won the H-shape race, and then, example of solution. So it's showing how it works. And basically shows me now the checklists. And it says it's waiting my approval, but I think we've approved everything as far as I know. And the complete user flow test is done. So from beginning to end, in a little under 20 minutes, it built an application, and we could actually test it. So if I actually go to, let's turn this off like this and just go to it, and let's do a log out. And I want to create a new user, so I'm going to say my name is Larry. And oops, make sure I spell my name right. And I will give myself a complex password so Google doesn't complain. And it immediately gives me, the market, so what's going on, the two things I can bet on. And let's see, let's bet on this one. Who won the H-shape race? Let's say Google, and let's bet $150. All right, and place my bet. Okay, let's go back to the home page, and then let's see who the length of TWiT on Sunday is going to be over and under 30 hours. Oh, it's always over. There's no times it's we're going to bet 500 and place bet. So now I literally built an application, as I said, in 23 minutes of Polymarket. And it tells me how much money I have left, etc., and allows me to log out. That is what to me is probably the strength of anti-gravity, as building either a POC or an application from just idea to end. And I said writing the prompt takes time and takes expertise, and you do have to sit there and work on it. Actually, let's do one other thing, because what I want to do is now I want to add another feature. And the feature we don't have, or we didn't have listed in here, is I need users to be able to create new markets, either in either format. Put a menu on the left to go to the dashboard, or add a new market. And again, this is not even using a true user story, and just putting it in. And again, it's in turbo mode, and it probably should create this in about 3 or 4 minutes, maybe less. I didn't have it create a README file, which we will do, and I can have it create the requirements text for what functions it can. If you start looking at the code probably is, I would say, this is 4.5, so it's actually it's pretty good. They've done a good job at what I'd like them to do, which is separating pieces out, creating the routes separately. It's not using class, it's not using solid principles, but it's probably using a lot of the base other things that we would look at. It does use enough templates, as you can see, because that's the Flask implementation of Python. It creates templates, etc.
We'll have to have a discussion one day about Solid. I'm very much in the camp of every part of Solid is wrong.
Every part of Solid. So I have a lead architect, and he is a Solid believer. And because he's my lead architect, I actually let him go forward that way. My personal stuff is less Solid. So I'm sure you could convince me that Solid is not great.
There's a concept called clean code by Uncle Bob Martin. While I don't necessarily, I don't at all subscribe to his political beliefs. He's very much a Trumper and so on. I think clean code is very much much more my thing than Solid.
Than Solid. Yeah, clean code. I mean, I have that book too, sitting in the library. I think sometimes clean code is almost impossible to do with larger and larger teams and code bases, because it's just to train a junior person on every little piece of it is difficult. And you have to pick principles that you like and get those principles forward, as opposed to trying to do everything. Like you definitely need naming conventions. You definitely need certain other conventions to make it easier. So it says it's getting it, now checking it. Good, the app is already running, and it's going to test it. So it should be opening the browser shortly and testing it.
While we wait for that, there was a question when using the models, Deuterino. Like, so, yeah, like how does the payment work right now? Like, do you have to pay for credits for choosing different models, or?
So the way Google works right now, and I think we had the screen up so we could show it. Yeah, so Antigravity right now only has an individual plan that they are not charging for you. They don't tell you how much tokens you have yet, but they do tell you when you hit that and say, hey, pick a different model. And then you can switch between models. Hence why I started here on Claude 4.5 and was wondering if it was telling me I was going to run out and I would switch over to Gemini. I seem to prefer Claude as a model, as a coder for myself. Gemini 3 is pretty good. Much better than, I stay away from the codecs from the ChatGPT. I think those are the lower end ones. But right now, they're not charging. What they do is they tell you run out of tokens, you switch a model, you run out of tokens, then you got to wait 5 hours and code again. So there's times I've woken up, coded in the morning on a Saturday morning, ran out of tokens, went did my rest of my day, came back at 3 o'clock and did some more coding. So that's their current
it's the same with all of them in that you can all of them support an API key, and once you put in an API key, you get shown how many tokens you're using and how much money it costs, and but you can. To me, they're just far too dangerous. You can burn through things. You set something going, and suddenly, you've got a $200 bill. Whereas all of them also support logging in with whatever your subscription plan is. And the good thing about the subscription plan is, like Larry said, when you max out, you just max out. You just you just get told you're stopped for the next 3 hours. Although once I did my weekly Claude thing, which was pretty horrible, being out of Claude for a full week, and it was like a Thursday or something. So, but still, it's when you use just the subscription things, you can't get in too much trouble.
The interesting part is because I think Darren and I both spend a lot of money on one of the Claude upper models, so we do have a little more bandwidth. Windsurf, I was grandfathered into the upper plan because I've been using it since it was something called Codium. So I pay relatively less for that, which is one of the reasons why I use it more. But as I said, I've been on this bandwagon of anti-gravity since it came out. I was unbelievably pleased to it. It did build the new one, and you can see it has a create market, so we can actually create a binary market. We can see the dashboard, which is the current markets that are there. It did create the temperature at noon, being a 70 degrees Fahrenheit. It's definitely going to be under because it's winter here. But it's built it out. Did it build the 30? Will it rain tomorrow? Yes or no? So it did build and did test it. That's probably how quick as efficient as anti-gravity is. The other piece I'll show you is there is something called an agent manager. This is very interesting because you'll see all the agents that I had running, and you can see how many times I've made sure I could demo this and make sure it does work and doesn't fail in this piece. But you can actually have multiple agents running at the same time, right? You're going to end up using your context absolutely very quickly. But in cases where you're running 2 or writing 3 applications at the same time, it's not bad. Once there's a better pricing model and we actually know exactly how many tokens, it'd be definitely much easier to manage. It's kind of neat because the other tools, like I've used, again, Windsurf, you try to run a second one simultaneously, no, that stops you. Same thing with GitHub Copilot.
Although one thing I would say is that it's a good habit to get into, to use many agent things rather than just continuing the same, like use a new agent every time you want to do a new thing rather than continuing the same conversation, because
absolutely. Go ahead. There's a context problem. You're absolutely right.
Your context gets longer, and so things get worse, or your actions get worse. But as well as that, everything's just more expensive because every action you do, it's sending every action you do, it's sending in the whole context every time.
So I'm going to create a README and a requirements.txt, but by clearing that context, it's only going to send now this piece as opposed to sending in the whole chat that we had before, right? And the advantage is, again, it uses this workspace. This does, and this is one of the things I have to figure out what it's doing is, say, Copilot and other tools, they do make an index of your code, right? And it makes it much more efficient to pass a smaller context of all the code. I'm going to have to find out if anti-gravity is doing the same thing, right? Because a lot of the times what you do is you have your code either on GitHub or somewhere, and it can generate that index from there and then use that index, right, as tokens, or very smaller tokens than anything else. So created a README file, which is kind of neat, which tells you what it does, and basically how to install and how to get running, which is great. Then in a requirements.txt, and it uses just the Python Flask, and this is what it's using to to encode the password so it's not in clear text. So I haven't seen the live questions because I've been looking at my screen and not looking at pieces. But now I will take any questions.
We could take a look. So we could just go over this again. But what are your favorite advantages in Antigravity over VS Code and agent mode or something else?
So just that visualization creation. You could ask it to create an image, you could ask it to create a video, and to be able to comment inside the video, etc. That just, to me, allows me to build applications so much quicker because you're not waiting for a lot of other stuff to be done. And I can make really a comment right inside that video or right inside the image, because you can actually say, here, make an image mockup, right? Or I have an idea, make a mockup of XYZ, a screen that looks like this. And then you can actually even circle spots inside the mockup and say, here, change this color, move this to the left, make a menu on the right, create a hamburger menu on the left. You could draw that on the screen. And that is, I can tell you, one of the most interesting aspects. And I will be working with some of my business partners, probably over the Christmas break and into January, showing them some of this stuff and seeing how much advantage of this so we can push to try to get something like this around, or push the other tools to catch up to it. So that's the number one. The number two, I showed the agent manager really quick, but to be able to run multi-agents at the same time, I know how long some of the stuff takes, right? If I can run two things at the same time and then interact with both of them, those are two things that are just heads and shoulders above everybody else right now. And it's really, and I know, even though I'm saying I'm using Claude Sonnet, I should go back to the image one. It is using the Google image creation tools. It's using the flow, and then I forgot what it's using for the image creator. It's using their image tool. So it is using those pieces to do it.
If you made it create an image, I've never successfully made any of these tools create an image.
Okay. Create a mockup in as an image in light mode. So we'll see what it looks like in light mode.
But that that the mockup earlier, that wasn't a generated image, was it? That was code, right?
It's code, but it was using their video recorder.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it says image is at capacity.
Because one of the things is, as I said, I've been chatting on the chat. I got in trouble early on using APIs directly and costing myself an absolute fortune. So now I'm trying to do everything with these in subscription tasks, but oddly enough, the image generators like Nano Banana Pro or even the ChatGPT, the DALL-E one, I cannot find a way to do in subscription programmatically, and I've tried really hard.
Yeah, not programmatically. Yeah.
Well, for something like yesterday I was thinking, we were hearing the Windows Weekly, and even though I don't drink, I love the whiskey segments. It's just the way Rich Campbell goes through it. They're quite entertaining, but it hit me that he's got a very structured approach, and I was thinking that the whiskey segments would actually go really nicely into turn into an infographic. And I tried one of them, and it was really cool. It had pictures of the drinks and the history he's talking about and everything. And so I wanted to build a quick tool to just go over all the historical transcripts and produce an infographic for each Windows Weekly segment. But again, I can't figure out a way to programmatically hit Nano Banana.
Well, okay. I mean, this is a tangent, but in AI Studio, you can set up an API for Nano Banana Pro, and it's not that expensive.
Yeah. I'm going to switch it to Gemini Pro and see if it'll let me create an image of Nano Banana there.
I did get some errors earlier today, so it could be hammered trying to generate stuff.
Yeah, we're also you're also probably at prime time for Nano Banana.
peak nano banana time.
Peak, yeah, peak. People taking the boat home from work and playing with it. Let's see. It's funny because, again, this is why when I talk about the model switching, sometimes one model does better than others. And it'd be interesting to see if it actually generates the image using the Gemini.
I've been impressed with the Gemini thinking model.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, the Gemini models. I have the comfort level with the Sonnet models, but I've been using the Gemini models back and forth when I lose, pieces, and I've not seen an issue with them. Let's see. Yeah, I think the Nano Banana is done.
El Deuterino, Nano Banana is the model name for Google's AI image generator.
Yeah. The reason why I like this, again, the visual, the mock-ups were great. I could probably tell it to mock it up and do a video, which is really weird that it'll do the video, but it won't do the image, which I think would be less. The recording of the video and the processing of that would be less. But that's
those are different.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, those are different tool calls.
Yeah. So we can't get it to create an image today. I'm sorry. It's very. Let's see.
We got anyone have any questions? Want to drop in the chat? Do you have any things you want to talk about, Darren?
And Darren, I'm going to get you out at 5:45 or my time.
No, I've actually, my apologies, and I've got to leave. So, thanks. That was really cool. I absolutely didn't know that it would do the screen recording stuff. So even though I've been using it, so I've got to go and figure out how to do that.
You can always ping me, Darren. We can talk about it offline. You know that.
Yep. Will do. But thanks, guys.
Yeah.
And
later,
my apologies. See ya.
Tool calls errors seem to occur during busy times for you too.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce your username, but I was messing with. I was trying to generate stuff in the AI Studio and was running into issues today earlier.
You really like AI Studio, don't you?
Well, it's just that's okay. Let me just pull it up real quick.
Want me to stop sharing?
No, well, either way, it's fine if you leave it up.
Okay.
Where are all of my windows? Okay. If you want, of course you could play with Nano Banana in your Gemini chat. Yep. But if you want more control over Nano Banana, you need to use it in AI Studio, because what you do get is you could specify what aspect ratio you want, and you could render an image all the way up to 4K, which is not the case, I don't think, in Gemini. So it's pretty straightforward. You just kind of, it'll walk you through it. Like you set up an API key, and I think Google even gives you they give you like a $300 credit to get started, which will you'll generate a lot of images with that. It'll go a long way. So then you could choose your model. Like you could I don't know why you'd want to, but you could even pick the older models. But here's Pro, and it's nice because also you could as you're going through stuff, you can fork conversations, branch, or rerun things. Like you could, let's say I didn't like this, I could edit my prompt and then rerun it after the fact. But I'm trying to build, on the holiday special for Security Now, we're going to rerun an old episode that didn't have any video. And, Security Now is the video show, so we're trying to figure out I'm trying to figure out what I'll put up on the screen.
You can't make an AI Steve Gibson.
Yeah, not for 2 hours. That'll be crazy expensive. Yeah, I guess it is kind of buggy right now. Okay, so it's kind of working. Yeah, let me just share. Let me share Photoshop instead.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got one. I got an image.
Oh, you did? Let's take
Yeah.
What'd you get?
So here I actually did it in light mode, and in review again I can review it, but like under review I can actually highlight something like this, and I can make it a comment, and I can tell it, hey, put this in a different color, or I could sit there and say, hey, use it, highlight this and say use a different font. So those are the kind of things that, as I said, is when you're starting to use a tool like this, as a developer, you can easily make changes, right? And again, I could say, I'm sorry, if I gotta hit review, so it knows I'm in review. I don't know why it keeps the drop down, but once you do that, it wants me to review that. Okay. Once it does, I could circle that and say, hey, I don't like the icon for create market, with something else. So you can do all that and then give it back, and I'll, generate the code for it, or update the code. And that's what, to me, has been very, very enlightening, mainly because, again, building mostly front-end apps or applications that have UIs, a lot of the complaints are about the UIs, and a lot of times I want to sit with somebody and say, okay, what don't you like about it? What can change? And we can make those changes in real time, get the mockups done, and then go back and make the coding solid. Like, not just solid as in the principles, but make sure it's secure, make sure it's scalable, all the other, quote, quote, non-functional requirements. But this would definitely allow us to push at least getting the mock-up design user acceptance to that point going forward.
Right. And so it's not only just being able to generate an image, it's also being able to understand images, which is, probably even the stronger tool in this use case.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I was built, you could see me cobbling it to get this security knot thing in Photoshop, but one thing is you could also here's just a tool tip, or a tip when you're creating these images, is to use your normal tools and kind of like splice things together, because like I first generated a base image of just like a text scene with a monitor, and then I'm gonna I used the Photoshop remove tool to take the text out of the screen, and then it didn't put it after it added that holiday mug, it's we should really make it a TWiT one. So what you can do is I cropped out the mug, sent that back into AI Studio, and then said replace that mug. You could see I cut that out, and I gave it a TWiT logo and said, okay, take that mug and replace it with, redesign it with this logo in mind.
Yeah.
So that's I replaced that, and then it's let's put in a bobblehead. So here's, that version. We don't have this exact bobblehead, but there was something similar that we had at the studio that I had an old photo of. Of course, that you didn't have the Christmas lights or Santa hat. Yeah, and then
it's just amazing. It is impressive.
Yeah, and then next I'm going to, let me switch that again. I took that Photoshop, put it back into AI Studio, and going to I came up with some kind of like terminal text for the security now episode and said, okay, put that on the monitor. And so now you can see what that looks like. Then I'll take this image, throw it into Google Flow, and generate a video. And in Google Flow, you could give it a start frame and an end frame, and I'll just give it the same and put some prompts saying that, like, lockdown camera, looping video, fires crackling, and stuff like that. And then we have a...
Kind of the bobblehead bobbling.
Yeah.
That's cool. That is really cool.
Oh, Joe. Is it because we started talking about art, Joe? Is that what's happening?
Actually, it is. Yeah, it is. And I actually ran into this is the first time I've tried to use any of this stuff for something legitimate. And I can only use Copilot because that's what our organization has. And I just wanted to try to make it create, because I'm working on a cybersecurity deck, and they want this animation of a scary monster coming for your cell phone. Not video, just an animation with no even sound. And I cannot get it to generate anything but video. And it keeps talking. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong with it. So I don't know if either of you had experience trying to get Copilot to do anything, or maybe it's just a lost cause.
I don't know what. So you're using Copilot.
Yeah, so I do the Copilot, and it's got the create thing, and it says, okay, there's a video section. So you open the little video thing, and it says, okay, give me what you want. And my description is something along the lines of... Can you give it an image to start with? Like a... I suppose I could. I didn't try that because I wanted to see what it could do without it, because I think I guess I could just sketch something quickly and give it to it. Or
on what I find is you need to break down any project into tiny pieces and go step by step. So you could use AI to come up, like, use, Sora or Gemini, or I guess Copilot, like start with coming up with the first image, like the general idea and the layout. And then I would take that image and then create a video.
So ask it to animate the image. So give it a still image.
Yeah.
Like if I know what the monster is going to look like.
I don't know what.
Well, this is for, again, it's cybersecurity. So I'm not trying to do anything, all that. They just don't want it to be still text. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So just something as simple as like what was that monster? The Bada Duke, whatever that thing is, like something like that coming for your phone because they want to highlight that, scam calls, spam calls, all that stuff for students, because university. So the other part is there's a lot of restrictions on what I can use, because university doesn't want to allow for much to be used because they don't know what's going on with all this stuff. And the only one that we have a real open license for is Copilot. So that's why I figured I'd start there with PowerPoint and all the rest of it. I thought, this will all be integrated. This should be really easy. But like I said, I don't animate. So this is a case where it's like, well, I don't know how to do this. I suppose I could create an animation if I want to spend 6 months on it and pretend I knew what I was doing, which I don't. So I'm like, okay, especially for cybersecurity, it's just like, I don't know how you sexify this stuff, guys. It's cybersecurity. Like, I'm sorry. There's only so much you're going to be able to do with this, unless you're going to resort to sheer scare tactics, which I'm not trying to, but we're trying to, one of the things is, okay, the threat on a cell phone is scan a QR code. It might be malware. The typical things that you would tell young people who aren't thinking about this stuff. They're just like, I'll scan everything in sight. Okay.
So I just did because, I pay for Copilot too. I pay for Office 360, and I just put create an image of a monster eating a wire. So you can create an image.
Okay.
An image, but how would I?
I don't think you can animate it.
Can you?
That's we'll see. It's not done creating the image. We'll see if we can animate it.
Because every time I tried to animate, it would try to make live video, so it would have actual, people. Okay. And that's not what I'm going for. I'm going for and I said cartoon, Hanna-Barbera style. Like I was trying all these.
Yeah. So I would say
I didn't do the right one.
Okay. Can you animate it and say something like, the sound, leave the sound out because that's easy to fix. Like don't try to.
Yeah, even the sound, I could just mute it. I'm not worried about sound. I can get rid of sound.
Can you animate it into? into a looping GIF. Like, let's see, like if it understands that concept.
Yeah,
I guess that's what it is. I have to try to figure out what this thing can even understand.
I can't animate images and to create GIFs at the moment.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you hold on?
Can you create a looping animation out of this image?
Or can you go back in that last thing and edit your? Yeah. Can you? No, you can't. Okay.
No. No. Edit in page. Let's see what it says. Nope. It's trying to
put it into a Word document. That's
yeah. Tries to add you to Word
how
document.
Useful. Thank you, Microsoft.
Okay. Download. Go ahead and download the image, and then let's start a new chat.
And so start a new chat. And
okay. Yeah. Add the image. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. What's that? What do you get there when you click that?
Well, it has
smart.
Yeah.
Okay. Just say, can you turn this image into video? Let's start small. Like, can it make a video?
I don't know if Copilot supports that.
Yeah, like that's what I'm.
Style.
Okay.
Wow, there we go.
All right.
Okay.
So,
for example,
okay.
Here we go.
Let's say make a 10-second animated video.
Let's use exactly that.
How about? I was going to say where the mouse eats a cell phone.
Well, there's something called meta prompting, and it's something I use a lot, where you actually have Copilot help you write the prompt for Copilot, or I actually often use Gemini to help me write the Copilot for Antigravity.
Oh my God, these things are all fighting each other in a couple of years.
Yeah, you actually tell Antigravity that you want to write an application you tell Gemini you're writing an application for Antigravity or prompt for Antigravity, and it actually is really good at helping you craft a prompt. Hang tight while I bring this to life. Okay. Nothing like real-time demos, right, Anthony?
Yeah.
This is helpful though for me because, like I said, I was clearly starting way too complex with this thing.
Yeah.
Assuming
me creating my video, like I started with let me figure out what the composition and what the whole thing looks like before I turn it into video, right? Mm-hmm. Not just going straight to video. So this is what it spit out, which is actually what I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. The fire's loop, or like the camera doesn't move and the fire's moving, right? I wish the lights were blinking. I should have did a better prompt, but I only have 40 credits and I'm not paying 200. Oh, okay, there we go. This is better because the lights actually. So I'll take this and I'll use this version. But if we go to, this is VO by the way, or Flow, using Google's Flow application using the VO model. So like I just kind of like spat the prompt at it of like what the image is, but the key part is the animation is seamless and loopable, ensuring the lighting and fire effects transition smoothly back to the first frame. The camera's fixed on a tripod, remaining completely static for a cinematic and immersive experience. Basically, like saying, for the love of God, don't move the camera, which, even though you say that, like there were some things where I got stuff that I didn't want.
Pretend it's a Wes Anderson film. Pretend it's a Kubrick film. Pretend it's a Tarkovsky film.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny because every time I'm using Sora or a tool like that for videos, I say animate myself as a South Park cartoon because it's still generating. I'll let you guys know if it finishes, if or when it finishes.
I tried the same thing in just Gemini. But it like you can see like there's a camera push in and stuff. So what I'm saying is, even if you don't get what you want to begin with, it's kind of like a rinse and repeat, and tweak your prompt and
so you run out of credits.
And until you run out of credits. There you go.
Well, hold on, but you're at work, so your Copilot should have a lot of credits. Like,
no,
it should. Although I can imagine I'll probably burn through whatever we've got really quick because I will just. I don't care. Good
apps you might like. Joe.
But see, that was my problem. I was starting too complex. I have to
break down your problems. Yeah.
Okay.
And you can always ask Copilot and say, "Hey, I need to do this. Can you help me craft a better prompt for it?" Or how should
I didn't realize you could do that. So now that I know that's beneficial, because like this is literally was the first day I even ran anything in Copilot, because I haven't had a need for it, and I just don't. I don't do animation. So
the term for that, again, we call it meta prompting, which is really it's a interesting statement. But as I said, as I use it a lot, when I'm using Antigravity to write code, I'll have Gemini up and I'll have Gemini tell me what's here's what I think my prompt is. How do I improve it? What am I missing? And it'll give you definitely a better thing to stick in Antigravity.
Sorry, I'm trying to log into some apps. So
that's okay.
Asking its own user manual. Interesting.
God, what is that application? There's Kling. Runway. Have you heard of Runway?
Yes.
ML.
Yeah, that's the video. That some of those videos were amazing that Runway came out with for a while.
Yeah.
Giant floating whale. Oh, this is showing Adobe. I wonder if this is one of the ones that's in Firefly.
Okay. RunwayML.com is another popular video, and like they do images too. You could see some of their tools, like you could create video, create image, and they got many models you could choose from. Gemini and VO, image gen. So like once you create your image in whatever AI app of your choice, you could use this, where you do have the options to let's just pick an image. You can give it a starting image, and then give it a prompt of what to do, and you have settings you could play around with. There was some. Not all models could give. There was an option where you could give it like a starting frame and end frame, but not only certain models could animate frames. There, okay. So this would help you, because Joe, you could give it the same image as your first and last, so then it could loop, right?
No, that was creates a loop. Okay.
Yeah. So like this would work. You just give it two images, and then you give your little description of what happens. Same thing in if you go to Flow, new project, videos, frames to video, and like there's like two little plus icons, and you can so there's ways.
Okay.
Kling is another one. Here's some old examples of me working on that little.
Oh yeah.
There's some really had some really bizarre ones. I didn't use anything on the. I mean, I'm sure their models are a lot better, but back then I wasn't getting what I wanted.
So is the primary difference between all these tools just that you have credits in each one, you bounce between them, or are some of them better at certain things than others?
Some models and some apps have tooling that are not some have better applications for different concepts or ideas. Like in Runway, there's one they do something called Act
Wow,
2.
my dog's snoring loud. I doubt the mic's picking that up, but it is.
Let me do that again.
Amazing.
Hold on, let's see. Okay, Act 2, where you could give it an image, and then you could give it another, like, basically you're driving a performance with another. You could upload a video of you acting out a scene, and then give it a character, and then it would act it out. And I was, all right, here's a bad example of like what not, like, I didn't use this for anything, but I was just playing around where I took Rod Pyle from This Week in Space, and I took an image of him and his set, threw it into Nano Banana, and said, make the lighting more cinematic and like more moody, just like kind of punch it up. And it created that. And then I took that image and then one of his promos as the driving performance, just to see what happens. I don't know if you could hear the audio, but I just want to see what happened. But it was a little too animated where I was hoping that it, like, if it was Rod driving the performance of his own image, it would look more natural, but it's not. It looks somewhat believable. It doesn't pass the test exactly.
Okay, wait a minute. So for this, you just applied. So it's generating his speech too. It's just like or did you have to give it what you wanted it to say, or was it just making stuff up?
No. So I gave Runway this image, like with the lighting of his set and everything.
This is what we're looking at now is a still image.
Yeah. Well, it started as a still image. I wonder if I could.
Right. That's what I mean. You fed it a still of him before you did anything else. You started with a still. Okay.
I gave it a character image, which is what you see here, and then I gave a video of Rod at his normal set doing a promo.
Okay.
So that like his performance would drive this AI image. But it's a little too like animated, like there's some weird stuff going around in the mouth. But I guess if you didn't know Rod or watched TWiT, like maybe you'd be fooled, but like it didn't really pass my
okay. Sorry. So I guess my question is, when it's generating this, it's just making this stuff up that it's doing right now, or did you give it stuff
I gave it a video.
To say based?
No. I gave Rod doing this promo a video. Like he's like it's doing the same like hand gestures. I wonder if I could. Let me find. I wonder if I could go to.
I'm just answering questions in the chat while you guys are going on the video stuff.
Okay. This is.
And the answer is yes. Everybody, I'm clueless. So if that's the question,
what you're looking now is the performance video. This is the actual video of Rod.
Got it.
Doing it. So like I took this video, but with the cooler background.
I got it. And so it like synthesized. So what it did is this same thing, but punched up with its effects.
Yeah, like if we go back to the output.
But it kind of over animated him instead of just leaving his performance alone. I got it. So
this is I gave it this image. This is the image I gave it. You see, there's like very hot backlighting, the blue, and like So I gave it that image in this video and said, take this performance, but make it look
HDR it up or whatever.
Yeah, but make it look like that the other character.
Interesting. Okay.
What I ended up doing at the end is I just took the background. Let me see if I can. 1 second.
By the way, still no animation yet from Copilot.
So
I'll be saying this Sunday night at TWiT. Still no animation from Copilot.
Export. Okay. The final output was I took the AI relit background, painted Rod out, but then I took the real Rod, cut him out using AI, using basically AI rotoscoping, I should just open the project. But basically, I did a mashup of the two where the background's AI generated, the foreground with RAW, that's real. But I did some like kind of color correction to mush it all together.
And was this thing used just as like a promo video for it, or was this a replacement for? Okay, so this was the promo. You didn't replace the entire video of him with this.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
I was going to say that'd be really impressive if it could keep up.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I wouldn't want to do that, for a 2-hour show every
No,
week.
I mean, for a promo thing, yeah. I mean, it looks okay. Now I'm following it. I was missing some of the first stuff, but now that I know what you're doing with it, I got it. I follow it.
Since I brought it up, let me just bring up
actually the AI rotoscoping would probably be tremendously useful.
It's in Final Cut Pro, and they call it image or magnetic mask. And the latest Adobe Premiere has their own version. I forget what it's called.
I'll have to look because I use Premiere, so I can look at it. I think it just updated today for something or whatever. I don't know. It updates all the time, so whatever. Not anything, but
it's for my testing, it's not as good as the one in Final Cut.
Why am I not surprised by that?
But yeah. Okay. Did we ever get our Copilot video?
No, we got no Copilot video.
No, but I appreciate the breakdown of it because, like I said,
yeah, break it out in steps. Yeah. Don't try to solve everything at once.
Yeah, my anti-gravity building an app with one prompt is not always the best way to do things. But being able to do something like that and then tell it to just pause in steps, so you're looking through it and stepping through it. And I think Darren mentioned is sometimes you got to clear the context window out also because it just sometimes too much.
I'll mess with it. Like I said, today was the first time I even ran the thing, and I was writing like a novel, and that's probably what was destroying it. I mean, it came up with some weird stuff, but I'm sitting here going, "This is not anything like what I'm." And then it kept narrating it, and I'm like, "Shut up! I don't need you to read." I mean, it was somewhat inventive in some of the phrases it was using, but I'm just like, no, I don't need sound. I just need a video to put in a PowerPoint. I don't want audio playing. But I mean, I had a guy spinning a fire stick and stuff like that, like a Hawaiian performer, and I'm sitting here going, how'd you go from sinister creature attacking cell phone to a fire spinner or whatever? That's a hell of a leap.
Anyway.
There's a couple questions about code quality.
Okay.
And Paul, said, we had a super group of about 100 devs who really cared about quality. It's very interesting because the code quality is getting better. All right, it's the worst. Right now, it's going to be the worst that it ever is. Right, that's the one thing. But I spent a lot of time at work and also looking in personal. Is my old code, and I realized my old code has got awful too. Right, you're never going to have top level coders, whether from as an AI or a person. It's going to be good enough, and the keys on at least with anti-gravity and other tools is to create that agent.md file, the language.md files, to give it structure, to give it some standards. And then, like I say, with almost everything else we release, even if AI writes the code, we still hand code review it. We review every line of code, we check everything to make sure it works. So code quality is really the job of the developer. In fact, we have a lot of people at work, and our discussion is what's the future of development. It may be understanding and reviewing generated code, and then thinking about it and being able to write the right prompts versus writing code often, because it just writes it so much faster than we could ever write it.
Here's a quick question. Do I have to buy a guitar to hang on my wall like everybody else who does video in a podcast now? Because I feel like I'm the only idiot who doesn't have a frigging guitar hanging on the wall.
You just need something, which you clearly have something. So
yeah,
you got a lot of somethings.
Well, usually if I'm in the other office, I have the banner, the table of.
What you do need is RGB lights, though.
Yeah,
I have them, but they're not on right now because the wiring in here is weird. So to do that, I would have to run. I can't be bothered, honestly. That's why there's all the clutter. They can look at that. They can look at the painting. That's fine. At some point, though, I do want to get a giant e-ink. Whenever they're affordable, I want a giant e-ink frame that I can
that
change
size.
Stuff. But that's something that's like 24 by 36. So that I'll spend $3,000 on.
Yeah. Someone did comment about it has the same 3 guitars. I'm like, okay, cool.
All right. Well, we're over an hour, and I think we've covered a lot this session. So,
And no, Leo never made it back.
Hopefully he got his haircut. But hopefully he'll also make next session.
Yeah. Again, if you ever have questions, you can find me in the DMs.
Yeah. And also, what's great about this is we post it in our Club TWiT feed, so Leo could rewatch.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you helping me.
No, it also helps. This is great because then we could create some more content. But thank you, Larry, for your demo. That was pretty awesome. And
I blew your hat off, didn't I?
Yeah. No, I mean, is there? Well, I guess I could just use something like Claude Code, but like as someone, could you use something like that even if you're not building an website or application, like project management and stuff like that? Like, is there any use for like that kind of tool outside of coding?
I mean, remember, I think the LLMs do great on, but you could probably create a quick app for you to do a project management for yourself. Like, you want to make it really customizable for what you're doing. And I think this is another discussion where I think there's a couple of posts about SaaS is dead, because if you can build a custom mini app for what you need that quickly, right? If you needed to do, like, if you say you're planning a party or something and you wanted to create a quick chart of what's going on and track it, and then have the live updates, or people even share the app, you could build something to manage a project, and you could build the app. Literally, you saw, with a good enough prompt in Antigravity, you have the app and you'd have the project management for you already, and then you're just updating it as you're making changes, right? You're updating the database, or you're clicking on whatever, or even connected to your phone. So I would think about it not as it being a project manager, but writing a mini app for you to do that for yourself.
Yeah. And like a Ademic Zuck, MC Zuck. So that's what I was also thinking about, because like I started getting into Obsidian, and then like I did notice, like, oh, if I was using Claude Code, I could just I could put Claude Code in that Obsidian directory, and then just like have it manage it there, and which seems pretty useful.
You could create something that generates tasks for your phone, for Apple phone. You can create a Swift application to run on your phone, or run Android phones. You could, anything you think of. It's not that hard. And I said it's bringing development down, I think, a level to where, like, you could go to a young person and just have them play with it.
Jeff Bennett uses Sonnet to wire up a 3 MCU stack for turning MIDI drum signals into LED lighting hits. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be cool to see. All right.
You have an image of it?
We'll have to wait 10 seconds.
You have to wait 10 seconds, yeah. The delay.
Anthony's like, I need to shut the stream down as soon as possible. Post it in the chat.
Anyways, we're going to wrap things up. Thanks everyone for watching and participating. Again, we do have an AI user group forum in the Discord where we kind of hang out and post links and stuff like that. If anyone has any questions, feel free to drop some in there, and we'll take a look. Where everyone's pretty friendly. So that'll be it for this month. We'll see you in the new year, everyone.
Yep. Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Bye, everybody.